Welcome to Moss Marketing Mondays, aka the M3 Podcast. Brought to you by Moss Marketing Group, bringing you everything marketing every Monday. Stay tuned for marketing tips and tricks you can use today. The M3 Podcast, marketing knowledge to help you succeed. Let's get started.
Dun, dun, dun. Welcome back to the M3 Podcast. Today we have Joe with
Hello.
Turbo Mobile Detailing and Dre and Logan.
Switch my spot.
Yep. Normally Dre's over here. We got them switched up. Thank you, Joe, for being on today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, Joe, you own a detailing company located here out of Liberty, also with a new location. Just started today in Independence. That's Independence, Missouri. And you do in-house detailings along with mobile detailing. So what's kind of the history of Joe in starting all of this and the background of what's led to it?
Yeah, definitely. So I have been in sales for roughly about 20 years, all kinds, name it, door-to-door, selling cable to pet food. So my last gig was I was an account manager for a pet company, a small mom and pop pet company out of California. Traveled 4 states, Kansas, Missouri, Iowa, Nebraska. Worked there for about a year. They sold off, and unfortunately, when they sell off, people get canned. I was one of them. So we got laid off, first round of layoffs, and then the second round happened when COVID kicked in. So I basically told myself that it's time to do something different, and here I am now.
When you say you were in sales, I don't think we definitely have not had anyone on the podcast that sold pet food.
No?
I don't think I know anyone.
I don't think I know
besides you now.
Yeah. You are the first person that I personally know or that has been on the podcast that has sold pet food. So what did that look like?
It was actually pretty exciting. So the best part was just traveling. So I traveled a lot. You had the perks of company car, gas allowance. I stayed in every hotel you can imagine, and I mean it was pretty cool. So the Iowa area was the best part, and then I traveled as far as up close to Chicago, and basically I was more of a key account manager. So I managed all the Menards, Petco's, PetSmarts, and I just went in there, made sure my food was good, took off all the expired products, trained, converted customers over to our food. So yeah, it was pretty fun. Learned a lot about food.
Yeah, so
pet food a lot.
And you came from a B2B business space to a B2C space.
Yeah, yep.
What did that transition on? I feel like that's so much different.
Yeah, I mean, it was, but the good thing about sales is that once you know the basic backgrounds of selling, it's just adapting different environments or different cultures. And I think what really started off was when I was just in residential sales. Being put in odd positions like door to door. Talk about, that was insane. So
what all were you selling door to door?
I worked for Time Warner Cable, believe it or not. I used to sell suits. I worked for the Men's Warehouse.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I knew that. So, how long ago was that?
Man, Men's Warehouse. It was maybe like about 8 years ago. I was with them for 10 years.
Oh, wow.
I started off young selling suits. I've pretty much managed almost every store in the metro.
So you were doing it before online shopping became a huge
Yes,
thing.
yes, before online shopping. So, yeah. And when they came in for a purpose. Now they just come in, I'm just shopping. But, yeah, I started off there. That was really my bread and butter, just learning the sales technique and how to actually overcome objections and all that fun stuff, and learning fabrics. And, one thing about the Men's Warehouse is they did train you really well. They took you off to California. You spend weeks there learning about garments, how they were made. You met the tailors. It was insane. They took good care of you. So
Do they still do that?
No. They fired George, the CEO. The I Guarantee It guy. I don't know if y'all remember him, but yeah, it's probably way beyond. But Google him, yeah. So or take a look at their.
We're gonna have Ricky put a photo of
Yeah.
George right here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna push him on the editing side.
Yeah, he used to say, "I guarantee you'll like the way you look." But yeah, they fired him. He trusted a lot of his friends. They were part of the board, and greed got in the way, and they canned him. They literally fired him within.
I feel like money changes a lot of people.
Oh yeah, I mean he was fired within minutes. They cleared him out of everything you can think of. It was crazy. It was unfortunate because he was a really good guy. I've met him many times, and he really was very passionate about his employees and cared about them. And I think that's how it kind of transitioned over to how I feel about my employees. So yeah.
Let's dive into that. Where's detailing come into the picture?
Yeah, so when I've always been, fascinated with cleaning cars, right? So I think we talked about it earlier. It's just cars were always just clean. You couldn't have anything, you couldn't eat. Even back when my dad, when we were young, I mean, we couldn't do anything in the car, and it was always
How
just kept
times
clean.
have changed.
I know. Tell me about it. So we had some friends and Dallas, where I'm originally from, where I helped out. When we were younger, trying to just make some extra cash, and when the time came to really look for a job, when I got laid off during the pandemic, it was just hard to find work. So of course, here I am just trying to figure out what to do, rack my brains. I got to support a family. So it was like, well, I don't want to work for anybody no more. So what can I do to be an entrepreneur? I've always wanted to be one. As a kid, I would go mow yards and with the lawnmower and walk from house to house, knock on a door. Hey, can I mow your yard? And they'd be like, yeah, sure.
So you're saying that was your first door-to-door sales?
Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, it was. My dad would load up my mower, my weed eater, gas, drop me off at all my locations, and I would mow yards. And I would literally be the kid in the neighborhood that would just mow all the yards. And, and it was really easy because I would just go from house to house to house to house. So it's just pretty convenient. And when I didn't have work, I mean, this is before copier and printers too. I mean, I am handwriting, pamphlets, and not, I'm spending the day hitting the payment, putting them on doors, and here I am getting phone calls. So that was pretty much my summer job. All summer long, I was just mowing yards left and right. So, I was always really big on finding ways that I can produce an income for myself. My parents, my mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad, he worked, took care of a family of four, and back in the 80s and 90s, it wasn't always fun. So, as a young kid, I always had to find ways to where I can, be able to enjoy just a little bit of money in my pocket. So whether it was washing cars or, bagging groceries, I kid you not, we'd play video games in Dallas and in the summertime. And when I ran out of quarters, I would turn right around and just start bagging groceries. Yeah, and put them in the carts and take them out, and the grocery stores didn't even care. I was doing them a favor.
Yeah,
and they would.
Wasn't like at that time you didn't work for them.
No, I didn't. I didn't work for them. They just let us. It was weird. Now that I think about it, now it's like, man, you can't do that now. Well, first of all, arcade.
Like, sir, get out.
Yeah,
get out of here.
And back then, arcades were really big too, so they're always in the grocery stores. Now you don't really find too many of them, but here I am as kids, playing arcades, and once I ran out of quarters, here I am turning around bagging groceries and walking them out, and they'd tip me, and I'd do that for 30, 40 minutes, get enough for a soda and a Kit Kat, and back at video games. So it's always been in my mind on trying to find ways to add additional streams of revenue. Until now, I have the opportunity to do that. So yeah,
and it's cool when you watch it all come full circle.
Yeah.
And come back around to what it's turned into now today.
I feel like when you have those experiences as a kid, you're just even more hungry to do it as an adult, and you're willing to do whatever it takes to make that happen.
Yeah, for sure. And we always wonder, when is the right time to start a business, or what do I need? How do I do it?
Right now.
Yeah,
right now.
Right now, yeah.
Anybody watching is right now.
And that's the thing, growing up, you always wondered, well, I need the money, and I need this, and I need that, and I need this. And I've realized that I wasted a lot of time waiting for that moment when it could have just been right now.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I did the exact same thing of waiting, and I step into something in the middle of COVID, and I feel like that's why we've had a ton of very long conversations, things like that, that both of us stepping into our own in a time that was so unsecure and what it's brought us to now.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a very high level of respect for that step and that risk when no one else is willing to take it.
And that's the thing is, you have to be able to take the risk, and sometimes there are consequences with it, but if you think about it that way, then you're always going to run into consequences or that bad luck, so to speak, or whatever. But, my belief is that if I'm going to invest that time and that money, then, it's going to, at the end of the day, it's going to work for me. So,
yeah. And I think the people that take a risk when everything is bad, when the world's bad, when everything's coming down, everyone goes to this like cocoon to like hide.
Conserve.
Yeah, it's like that conservative side of everyone becomes so like visual across every human being that you meet.
Yeah.
But the people that take a risk at that time are the ones that are the most successful.
You can look at that in any aspect.
Yeah.
Like in 2008, the people who are making the most money now with like rental properties and housing are the people who were just buying like crazy in 2008 when no one wanted to touch
and
it.
everyone called those people crazy in 2008.
Yeah.
And now everyone's like standing, waiting, like, I want to do it now this time.
When's the next 2008 going to be? I'm ready.
Yeah. Every time I think of that, all I think of is the win-then fallacy. It's like, when the market gets bad, or when the market gets better, then I'll market.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, because just so you know, the markets get better for everyone, not just you. So when it slows, then you market.
Yep.
Yeah, and the people that everyone, when economy's booming, everything's up, and everyone's taking a step out to go do everything.
Yeah.
That's the time they want to do everything. But guess what? Now, if you step out as a detail company in the height of everything, when everything's great, you're competing against 15 other people.
Yep.
When you do it when it's risky and no one else is doing it, now you're in a league of your own. You're not competing against anyone but the man in the mirror every morning.
Yep. And it's interesting because when I started this, I totally forgot about COVID. I didn't think about,
You start working and then it like disappeared.
Yeah, what's going to happen. And originally this was supposed to be just a side gig. It was supposed to be something I was just, to make a little bit extra cash so I can find a job, do something differently. And it turned in from a Saturday, Sunday thing to a Monday, a Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday.
I'll take my sick Monday off.
Yeah,
I'll do this.
And then here I am looking, and I'm like, okay, well, I wasn't expecting to blow up this fast, and I'm 2 months out. I'm by myself. We're in the middle of July, and starting off with the minimal, right? I mean, I still have the vacuum. It's like a 1.5 horsepower, 1 gallon vacuum.
That's awesome. Don't ever get rid of it.
No,
You ought to put that in a case somewhere.
So I might have to, but yeah, I mean, I just started off with practically nothing, and I think that's the thing is people always wonder when and why and do I need the money? And sometimes you just don't. Sometimes you just need to go with what you have, use it, and if you provide a good service, a good product. And of course, if you're reasonably priced at that point, you're smart, right? You do it right, right? And then you grow, and that's kind of the idea is that, for anyone who's thinking is, if you're waiting for the time or you're waiting for the money or the finances or,
You'll be waiting a long time.
You'll be waiting a long time.
Everyone sets like a comfort level in their head, and that comfort level always pushes higher and higher and higher. When you hit that, like I remember when I got out of college, what my comfort level was. I was in college and like comfort level was having like $100 in my pocket. I could eat. Like now it's, I look back at that and I laugh at it, but comfort levels change as you get older and as that bar gets higher and higher and higher. And now I have payroll to make every 2 weeks.
Yep.
That comfort level is way higher than it was in college.
It's like 300. Like
Payroll's really cheap.
Oh my God.
But it's also, I think, when you got into your space, you brought something that was unique to the space also that I don't think a lot of people are doing. So I think there's a lot of pros. I think there's probably cons that come with it also.
Yeah.
With the mobile detailing side,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of people that get into detailing, but you stepped into it saying, hey, you know what? I'm going to give you the service that you're looking for, and I'm going to do it in your driveway.
Yes. Yes. And the thing, too, is that there are mobile detailers out now, but they're afraid to grow. They're afraid to take that next step. And, that wasn't my mindset. My mindset was like, look, I need to do more. I want more. I just don't want just this. So, yeah, being able to provide that aspect to it in a market that was untouched too. I mean, we're out in Baser, Kansas. People are like, oh, mobile? You're telling me you come to me? I'm like, well, yeah, we come to you.
I mean,
really?
when we first met, we first met at a chamber meeting. The second I heard about it, I'm like, yeah, can I get on that list ASAP?
Yeah.
You tell me I can be working, and then I get my car detailed while I'm working.
And it's still shocking to some people, when they call and they're like, I didn't even know that exists, So, because that cliche of detailing, it's always been shop based. It's always been bring it to me, drop it off, wait, or come back later on today, So being able to tap into that market again, where we were at Leavenworth County, which was untouched, it still is. There aren't any mobile detailers in that area, and it's still our bread and butter. I mean, we still get a lot of business in that area. If it wasn't for that area, I honestly wouldn't be where I'm at now. So, they really, really helped me grow as a business owner and as a business.
When you started the detailing side,
Mm-hmm.
did you start off straight to mobile?
Yeah.
You did?
We had a Jeep Commander that was unoccupied. We were just sitting there because we had, I had a car, my wife had a car, and honestly, I really was leaning more towards doing like an eBay shop out of my garage. So I was like, it was going to either be eBay or detailing cars.
What were you going to sell on eBay?
I don't know.
Anything and everything.
Everything. I was researching it. Margins and
Like stuff to clean your car.
I know, right?
Hopefully not fake Jordans.
No, hopefully not. and it was like either that or this, and I just leaned more towards, what? Let me get some, let me detail some cars. I enjoy cleaning cars, and originally it was just going to be, a generic name, J&J Detailing, and that's kind of it. And I put it out on social media, and one of my buddies in Dallas, he's like, hey, won't you name it Turbo? And I'm like, that's not a bad idea. And the story behind Turbo is that in high school, I used to be a break dancer. So I used to break dance.
Wow.
Are there videos of this out there?
No,
Can you still
they
do
didn't
it?
have
I was
it.
here to say,
we
I'm
can
like-
move this coffee table.
I tried one day, and I was in a back brace for 3 days. I was stiff as can be. I gave up on that. I tried to impress my kids, and that did not work well. But yeah, so my buddy's like, dude, they called you Turbo when when we used to break dance, and why don't you just go? And I was like, you know what, that's a good idea. So I just switched the name to Turbo Mobile Detailing and went from there. And of course, the snail kicked in. So, I was.
I like the logo. I was
I
right
like
out the
your logo
gate.
a lot.
It was something that we work with a lot of companies, and there's a lot of companies that come to us that don't even have logos.
Yeah.
That they've been operating full tilt, no logos, no nothing. And when we started with you guys, I was like, I like the detail. I like the snail with the wheel
Yeah.
on it and everything. I was like,
Well, originally we started off with the original Turbo Snail.
Yeah.
And we were like, well, eventually we're going to get in trouble.
there's gonna be a copyright.
There's going to be something going on. I mean, if we want to grow and be something bigger and better, we're going to have to change it up. So a high school kid out of Baser, Kansas, went to Baser Linwood High School. He actually redesigned my logo, sketched it out because he couldn't do 3D. He only can do 2D. So he basically sketched it out, different formats, positioned it, and I'm like, look, dude, you never done it before. Go for it. Give it a shot. Nothing's going to hurt. You're not going to hurt my feelings. Just give me what you got. And he designed it, and he came up with this logo. So
Where's this kid now?
he's still in Baser. Well, he goes to, he's in college right now, but
I want his contact
Yeah.
because we've been accumulating some solid prospects out of Kansas So
Yeah.
he,
Straight up.
Ricky, and Lauren.
Yeah, he was a senior in high school, and one of my employees goes, "Hey, I know someone who can probably do your logo for you." And I'm like, "Yeah," and I met him, and I'm like, "Look, I started off. I'm still new. You're new. You want to, and he actually put it in his art contest and gallery and all that fun stuff. So
He's gonna be reaching out to you here in like 5 years when you got vehicles all over
Yeah,
the country.
yeah.
He's gonna be like,
I need
Hey.
a percent.
yeah, I know. Give me some money.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
so
mistake.
so he redesigned the whole logo, changed the colors, and set it up, and we kind of went from there. So we went through like 2 stages of rebranding. So first it was just the logo here, and then we ended up rebranding with it going long ways versus just the big logo and then our name underneath
Yeah.
Yeah.
and above it. So we simplified it, made it look sharper.
It's very clean.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Yep.
So I want to take a step back here real quick because
Yeah.
I think it'll be beneficial for the listeners who are at that point to where they're thinking about starting a business and wondering what avenue to navigate down. So obviously you have your business partner, Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
How did she come into the picture, and what led to the decision to add a partner or to go that route?
So Amanda, I believe it or not, I was her boss at the Men's Warehouse in Independence. So I managed her, and we were teammates for years with Men's Warehouse, and we just stayed in contact for many years. My wife worked with her, at a previous employer, and one day she called me and she's like, "Hey, whenever you need help, let me know. Whenever you need help, let me know." And at that point, I was still figuring things out. We're still running just off the edge of our seats and trying to maneuver things around. And one day we just got so busy where I couldn't handle phone calls and messages and emails. And, it's hard to do all that when you're, trying and wanting to grow, but yet you're still in a vehicle cleaning. So I called her. I said, "Hey, what are you doing? Let's meet for coffee." And we talked and talked and talked. And we decided to bring her aboard, and she, like most women, organized everything for me, because I was all over the place. And
Whoa.
she's like,
Yeah.
how have you made it this far?
that's what she said. How did you make it this far? And it was interesting because I'm like, all right, so we have to find a way that you can answer my phone. So I'm going to forward my calls to you. And now she was getting my mom, my brother, my sister, family members. And she's like, this isn't going to work, so we need to change it up. And then same thing with even like booking. We were sharing calendars, and it was just a mess. And one thing in the detailing industry is there's not a whole lot of services software wise that's available for us.
I think we've talked about that a lot.
Yeah. So we were bouncing back and forth and trying to find one. And we ended up finding one. It's Jobber, and we looked at the one you sent us over, which we're leaning more towards the moving over to that platform. But
And that's also something like we've talked about. If it doesn't work, like we're fine with getting software engineers to build something.
Yeah.
Like for that space.
And that's the thing. There's not a whole lot around,
No.
and it's not catered towards us. There's a lot of things that's not catered towards detailing in general.
Yeah.
So we brought her on. She cleaned everything up, organized everything, made everything look pretty.
We definitely have to have another podcast with her on too.
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
So,
She wanted to
yes.
come. She just couldn't make it in today. But hats off to Amanda because she was able to just streamline everything, make everything just easy for us.
I will say your guys' processes as a company are phenomenal.
Yeah.
If
Thank you.
I schedule a mobile detail at my house, I get a text message 3 days before, 2 days before, day before, day of, an hour before,
Yeah.
so that someone's coming, and then the second they're done, I get like a text message saying that they're finished, sending over my invoice, everything. I was like, wow, that was just
Everything's
so-
automated.
it's
so you
so
don't really
great,
have to
like-
worry about it anymore. And it's
Yeah.
convenient for everyone, even taking payments, the whole COVID thing, contactless payment. I mean, it just made everything streamlined and easy. And we just send you the link, you pay it, and we move on to the next job, and you move on and enjoy the rest of your day. So,
And I think on that, there's a lot of people that get so set in the growth side of acquiring new customers, new accounts, whatever it is that they do within their job, that they lose sight of their current accounts, current customers, and you guys do such a phenomenal job on current customers, current people getting their vehicles detailed by you.
And it's still a work in progress, right? So as we continue to grow, we continue to have to, game plan for a different day. And I'm really big on focusing on what's in front of me. I don't really worry about what's going to happen tomorrow or next week, next month, next year. I mean, it's good to have goals, but it's never guaranteed. Yeah. So if I can focus on completing the day, then I'll work on tomorrow, right? So it relieves a lot of stress and anxiety, So, but yeah, so we talk about it every day. We work on ourselves every day to make sure that we can continue to work with those clients, our past clients, because that's all just, an extra CRM, an extra database that we can carry off of to continue to keep us busy. So if we can continue to reach out to them and get them back on our calendars, whether it was 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, we can continue to fill our calendar up. And then, y'all do a great job at bringing more leads in our way. So now it's up to us to make sure that we can capture it, utilize it. And if we can't, then we reach out to them another time and day. So,
and I think you have those new leads coming, but I think you're starting to see as a business also that you're starting to see that referral side trickle in.
Yes.
And you're starting to see that, like, I know you always detail Madison's car at our house, and she has a lot of people reach out every single time she puts it on Instagram.
Yeah.
They're like, you have your car detailed at your house? Like, what are these people's phone number? Like, it's so crazy how that kind of works.
And then we've also made it convenient, too, because now we have 2 mobile teams. We have a shop. We're getting ready to open up another location. So now we can cater to practically anyone in any footprint of the metro, whether you are mobile or you want to drop off, to bring that convenience factor closer to that consumer without them having to wait months to get their car detailed.
Well, leading into that, when and what made you decide to expand?
I guess the mindset of not wanting to be satisfied with what we have. It's good the income wise, but what a lot of people don't realize, when you run a business, it takes a lot of money to run a business.
I tell them all the time, I'm like, I bleed money. I'm like, it's just nonstop.
Nonstop.
We have credit card, like we have cards that I just hand to all the guys every day when they're rolling out, doing whatever, and that money side just becomes something that most people don't realize.
No, you're right. And so, of course, the more you grow, the more you spend, and so it's
you just have to make more money.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's the thing. You just have to make more money. So no, it was more of just, honestly, it's really trying to set the foundation, the stepping stone, not only for myself, but for my kids. And this can be something that we can just continue to carry over from legacy to legacy, and it won't just stop at detailing cars, right? So we're thinking of other avenues that we can continue to build on to our business, our culture, what we stand for as a company. So, being a one-man team, it just doesn't stop there for me. I want more. I want more. I want to see more. I was talking to my wife a couple weeks ago. It was about 2 weeks ago, and I'm just sitting on the couch, and I'm like, man, what do I got to do to be a millionaire? And I'm sitting here adding numbers up.
That's awesome.
Okay, so this is what I got to do? Okay, all right. And I've calculated. It's like we got to do like 50 cars a day.
Yeah.
50, 60 cars a day. So how can we get to 50, 60 cars a day? Well, we just bought a 5,000 square, leased out a 5,000 square foot shop that can hold 10 cars. We can knock out 10 cars a day in that thing. On top of mobile, get another shop. I mean, it's possible. It really is, to enjoy that dream. Now, will I get there? Who knows? But it would be nice.
Sounds like you're taking the right steps in the right direction.
I hope so.
So you talk about being uncomfortable with where you're at. Dane talked about it earlier. I think it's Ed Milet. I'm not for sure with this, but he talks about like the internal thermostat.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to manually do that. Like, that's something that you have to make the decision that I'm not okay with where I'm at, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. What advice would you have for those business owners who are going through those growing pains that you mentioned and need help with getting to that level of where they want to be?
You really just have to kind of tell yourself, you know, where you want to be, and don't let anything get in the way. You know, I mean, a lot of us struggle with the growth aspect of it is trusting in people, right? So a lot of my fellow detailers that are still by themselves are like, hey, what can I do to grow? Well, you got to trust in people. You know, you got to trust in people that that they're going to help you grow, right? And you can't be afraid. You actually have to take that step. And sometimes it involves, you know, spending money. I mean, you have to spend money to grow. You know, that what's that saying? Spend money to make money, but you also really have to spend money to grow.
And that comes with a lot with marketing with employees.
Yeah.
And I will say the most uncomfortable times I've had in Moss Marketing Group since I've started is every single month someone has started.
Yeah.
Because we've taken on it's such a large additional cost that it's something that something just inside me tells me that it's time. And I'm like, you know what, it's time that this is what we have to do to take that step to grow more. And that's like the most uncomfortable month. And it has not once been an uncomfortable month, like financially.
Yeah.
But it's just something in my head that I'm like, taking that step. And I think you have done a phenomenal job at taking those steps when they're needed. And I see a lot of people that get to this, like, they go like this, and then they hit this spot that you need more people.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have manpower. You have to have hours. You have to have that trust in someone to nixate that next level.
To truly grow, you have to be able to work on your business, not in it.
There you go.
That's a
good point. You know, I can't grow my business cleaning a car. I always say I can't grow my business with my head in a car. I got to step back.
Yep.
I got to evaluate things. I got to trust people, right? I got to trust I got to allow my teammates to trust the system that I created, right? So we can all be successful in this. And, you know, making sure that they understand, you know, what's going on, what we're at hand, what we're at stake. You know, I really tend to think that I'm, you know, pretty transparent when it comes to our business. And I share with all my teammates how we look, what we're doing, how we're doing, what's important, what's not important, because I think that is important, is that you're trusting into and your employees, your teammates, to help you grow there. So, you're right.
Every business owner goes through it. Yeah. Dane, whenever Dalton and I started taking over some of the marketing stuff, Dane was helping us building ads, writing copy, doing everything that we do. And he finally got to the point to where he realized that the business was going to grow more if he trusted us and took a step back.
Mm-hmm.
And the week that he stepped off and Dalton and I just started making decisions, helping each other with ads, with copy and all of that, that's when we grew at an astronomical rate.
Every single thing I've done where I've stepped back, which most people think that you're always having to step forward in business in a set project, a set objective of, like he said, doing the ads, doing the ad copy, doing all this stuff. I approved every single ad that Moss Marketing Group sent out into November of last year.
It's quite a few months.
The fall.
Yeah, fall of last year was when I finally was like, I have two guys that are doing this that are phenomenal at their job.
Mm-hmm.
Realistically, they're better at it than me. And when I gave them the power to say, hey, you know what, you approve his stuff, you approve his stuff, and then I'm going to step out of it. It gave me like this huge influx of time.
Yeah.
That a lot of times they were leaving at 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't know, we work a lot later than a lot of people. But it was when all of a sudden I didn't have to work those late hours doing that. Then I was getting to bed at a better time. I was getting up earlier. I was performing better on my schedule. And as we increase that, I've given Dre a lot of our leeway on the sales side, on account management, on a lot of these things that I was handling.
Yeah.
Ricky and Lauren come on and take over a lot of the content side. And it's as these things have been like taken off of my plate, our growth, where a lot of times people say growth is just a straight line. As you hire people, that growth line goes up quicker.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden we've seen that influx is 10x every single time another person comes on.
I think that's where so many I've personally been in a lot of places of business where you see one individual, they wear 12 hats.
Yeah.
And I understand that sometimes just has to be done. I do truly understand that with financial stuff, but in some instance I'm like, hey, you guys have the capability, you guys have the funds to hire an individual to split this. I'm like, you split that, then they both become much more efficient at those 6 tasks. What would that do for your business? And they're like,
you
well,
blow up.
yeah.
Yeah, you grow.
But that's where that comfort comes in.
Yeah.
Where that comfort level, every time that happens, that comfort level gets weird. Yeah. Wherever you set that comfort level, it gets very uncomfortable very fast. But then when you end up on the other side of it, which in the beginning I thought was going to be like long time frames of clearing that uncomfort. Realistically, I found out it was like a 30 to 60 day uncomfort level. Then all of a sudden you're on the other side that you're like, who's the next person coming?
Right.
Yeah.
That's the new normal. That's the new we're not. It's the floor. We're not going back past that.
Like we have another person starting here in 2 weeks.
Okay.
And it's just as fast as it's all happening, we're going to keep up with everything that's coming our way. You're doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, because we just hired on another person. So we started off with just myself and then myself and my son. And then now we're up to 8 of us. So, I have 2 working in the shop every day now, and I'm not having to do as much, so I can, focus on growing my business. And that's the big struggle for a lot of business owners that want to grow and struggle is that they don't want that trust, or they're afraid to take that next step. And, we took a huge step moving into that Independence location. That's a money. It's not cheap.
I do say trusting people is hard.
It is.
So today you got that spot. I want to sit down in 60 days. I would go over this exact same thing.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, I have 40 people working.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the thing. It's and the next question is like, well, what are you gonna do with the Liberty location? Oh, we're keeping it open. Why close something that's profitable? We're gonna keep it open. We're gonna keep moving, and we're gonna find a way to make this work. Because there's no nothing in action.
Yeah,
we're gonna work
down.
Yeah, we're not going down. We're gonna make this work, and we're gonna do whatever we need to do. And I think the best part about it is everyone that works with me, we all have that same attitude. It's like, look, we're gonna do what it takes to get the job done. And if it's, an extra car, or it's an extra day, or if it's an extra weekend, or whatever it is, we're all on board. And we had to have that discussion with everyone, saying, hey, look, we need individuals who are hungry, hungry for more, not just for a paycheck. We want people that are hungry for providing a good service, world-class service, a top-notch service, growing, right? We want individuals that are wanting to grow with us. That way we can give them the opportunity to be leaders as well, and then we can continue to grow and become bigger leaders. And then at the end of the day, the goal is to corner the market. We want to be a household name in every, in the metro, and whatever we're going to do, we're going to get there.
That goes a lot into, I think you're very good as a visionary, which visionaries make up all entrepreneurs. Mm-hmm. They make up 3% of the population that hires 97% of population. But they're the person that they might not be the best at doing tasks. I know you can talk to everyone down here. Sometimes it's really hard to keep me on task of doing things. But my head is going 1,000,000 miles an hour all the time. It's adapting. It's figuring out what you have to do. And you have that same thing of that's why people follow you into what you're doing. And that's why you have these people that have jumped on, is because you're giving them the opportunities to do something also. I think when you have people that come on board with you and you give them those opportunities, it speaks volumes that they have something that they can go after, and it gives them that vision along with your vision.
And I think I enjoy the, when we do have my employees say, man, I love coming to work. Even when it's 95 degrees outside, I love coming to work.
Luckily, we have AC. So.
I know, right? and it's, and I have one employee, she left. She was a vet tech, working with the animals. And she's like, I'd rather clean cars than do what I'm doing. And she left. She came over here, and she enjoys what she does, and she's happy.
That's huge.
That's because of your leadership. So for the business owners that are afraid to take that step in trust, like you said, it's hard to trust. It is. For those of the business owners that are listening that are afraid to take that step, when you put your people in a position to be successful and you give them the tools that are necessary, they're going to be so much more fulfilled in coming to work every day. And that's how you build a winning culture.
Exactly.
Like I'm sure with your employees, you're not just, when they show up the first day, you're not just handing them a rag and saying, hey, wipe down this car.
Clean.
You're saying, hey,
figure it out.
this is what the entire process.
He's like, that's exactly what it is.
Who told you?
You're saying this is what the entire process looks like. This is why we do it this way. And this is why we are the best detailing company in the Kansas City area.
Yeah. And, and after every job, good or bad, we ask our clients, hey, let us know, good or bad. We're not going to get hurt. It's just going to make us better and stronger. I just had a customer call me just 30 minutes ago, about a situation. And our job is to make it right, whatever we need to do to fix the problem, right? So, and I think everyone knows that on our team. And I think the biggest thing is that I've learned over the years of managing people, working with people, is that, generally good leaders listen. They listen really, really well, and they learn how to motivate their employees by what they say, how they say it, what they do, their actions. And I think that's a big, big driver on providing a good environment to work in, and I think over the years I've learned, because I've had bad managers, bad leaders, and I'm like, look, I don't want to be like that guy, so I found ways to incorporate that with my team, because we're not big on titles. One thing I don't like is when I go into it to help one of the guys out and they're like, oh, that's the boss or that's the owner. I'm not a boss or an owner. I'm your teammate. We're all teammates here. We all work together. We're all sweating. Just, I'm not doing anything different than you're doing, so, and that's kind of my philosophy is like, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it together, and I'm not your owner. I'm not your boss. We're teammates. We do this together.
I think that speaks so much. I think that's also why we've gotten along so well since the day we've started. Is like I hate so much of like my business cards don't have my title on it. Like that was one of the things that I don't need people to know. Like I'm fine with going in somewhere. Most of the time I go in somewhere and the question I get asked is, because my last name is the same of the company, if my dad owns it. Like, that's normally the question. I'm like, he doesn't. And it's just normally like, I try to end the conversation there. I don't need everyone to know that it's our company. Like, realistically, it's all of our company.
Yeah.
Every single person that is here puts in just as much work as I do every single day. So it's a team effort of what we're going for. But that goes straight back into giving everyone opportunities.
Yep.
When you give those people those opportunities to grow and do that stuff within the company, it makes it all work.
Yeah. Just listening to you talk, and I know Dane very well, obviously. You guys are very similar in the way that you lead. Who are you? And I'll say that as a leader, if you come into the office or come into the place of work and you have a bad attitude or have any type of emotion, whether it be good or bad, your employees are going to feel that only 10 times, though. So if you come in and you're stressed out and they can tell that something's wrong or that, financially or whatever, the business is in trouble, they're going to feel that and they're going to stress about it, but they're going to do it at a 10 times higher level than you.
Yeah, no, for sure.
I have never seen Dane come into the office or come into any day with a negative attitude. It's something that we've talked about. He just doesn't have bad days, and he doesn't have a bad attitude in anything that he does. And that's why we've grown so fast and why we've been so successful, because that translates tenfold to myself, Dre, Dalton, everyone on a daily basis. And that drives us to do more, to be more, to want more.
But
yeah.
that's something, as being that person and being that leader, that what most people don't understand is the hardest month we've ever had as a company was the busiest month we've ever had as a company. When we onboarded 15 accounts in a month, what most people don't realize is we do billing in the rear. We have ad spend within all accounts included.
Yeah.
That ended up being a huge influx of money out. So, and that ended up being a month that we were acquiring new people working with us. And so all this money is bleeding out with no money coming in yet. And it's great, but that's not anybody that works here. That's not their problem.
Yeah.
That's the weight on my shoulders. Yeah. That is what I'm supposed to handle with the man in the mirror every morning.
Yeah, that's not to say that you don't have bad days. That's just to say that
nobody should ever know.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, and you know, growing up in sales, you know, I had a district manager, you know, when I was, 22, 23, I was all mad, upset. And I can't even remember what it was, but he sat me down and he goes, you know, the one phrase that he always used to tell me is, don't let them see you sweat. It was another, you know, we were blowing numbers out of the water. I mean, we had a young staff, young crew, and every month we're blowing numbers. Every year, I think we blew numbers out of the water every single year for like 4 years straight. And a lot of my peers, you know, they were much older than me. And of course they were jealous over my success. So they would throw out little things. And my boss pulled me to the side. He goes, don't let them see you sweat. You know, the minute you let them see you sweat, that's when it's over. You know, so that's always been my motto. Don't let them see you sweat. And I tell that to my son because he's 18 years old. And he's like
JoJo.
He's like, this customer this and this customer that. I'm like, dude, don't let them see you sweat, man. You know, the minute they see you sweat, the minute they see you upset, angry, you know they got you where they want you. So just be cool, calm, collective. And if you want to get mad get mad in your room, get mad in the shower, yell and scream all you want. But when you're in front of people, don't do it.
They started that conversation to get you riled up.
Yeah.
You just fed
right in. So yeah, don't let them see you sweat.
I think that comes a lot on Outlook, which I struggle a lot with this on like other people's Outlook, that I always have the Outlook like every single morning I get up at 6:00. We go work out in the morning. Most of the time, 5 days a week. Sometimes Dre misses a day or so, but
sometimes I text Dane and I get here and it takes 15 minutes.
No,
so.
But it's one of those things that like I get up every morning and I am so thankful for another day.
Yeah,
to have the opportunities to do what we do. I am very thankful that I get to hang out with. I look at getting to hang out with all my friends every day. Like, that's what the business has turned into, is a huge group of friends that gets to hang out every day. And I'm like, it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. It's like, you know, we all have our bad moments, our bad days, issues with whatever it could be. But, you know, the biggest luxury that we have is that we get to wake up the next morning. If you wake up the next morning and you're seeing your surroundings and your friends and your family and whatever, you're lucky.
Yeah,
you know, you're thankful.
Very lucky.
You know, and that's how we have to see things. You know, for me at least, that's how I see it. Is
I think,
you know, I'm thankful to be alive.
Yeah,
That's
I think
huge.
Every motivational speaker out there has always said something about it in a different variant.
Oh yeah, they all do. I mean, the one that sticks with me is remember tomorrow. I've had this plastered on my bulletin board since I was in high school. No matter how bad today is, tomorrow will come. It's the same thing.
Yeah, and it's just, I don't know. We enjoy every day. We enjoy everything. That's why I don't have bad days. It's just because I'm so fortunate, so blessed, so lucky. whatever word you want to use with it, that is what I am for that day.
Yeah, and
And
only we can change what goes on in our lives, right?
Yeah.
So, one thing that our minds are, it's very powerful,
Yeah.
So when we react based off of what we're thinking, sometimes it doesn't always work that way. So you have to be able to tell yourself, slow down, let's figure this out, and then we can move forward on the next step.
And I think you've seen that also. I think you're somebody that's well aware enough of, like, when you were watching those things in Men's Warehouse and the different jobs that you have been in, you've seen that manager on how they reacted and came in with a negative attitude.
Yeah.
And you've watched that if you have
I would just say morale.
Well, say you have morale of 10 salespeople and they have 8-hour days, and that manager comes in, you just wasted 80 hours in a day because of that manager.
Yeah.
And most people don't look at that. And do you know how valuable 80 hours is? If you had a positive 80 hours, what a company can return from that. But one person came in with a shitty attitude and now just ruined 80 hours.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to be reminded too. Like, I was out in the field, they were running behind, and I was like, let me go out there and help them. And, one of my teammates, she wasn't too happy, and I was like, smile. It's okay. It's a beautiful day out here. You're in the shade.
There's worse problems to have.
Yeah,
You got shade. It's not 90.
Yeah,
it's 95 over there.
Yeah, it's 6 o'clock. It's been a long day. I get it. But smile, be happy. You enjoy life. I know it's tiring and you're exhausted, but just smile.
Hey, we all have our ups and
Yeah,
downs.
and she looked at me and she smiled. And then after that, you could just tell the attitude just shifted, because it was like we're a bunch of robots. That's how stiff it was, and I had to smooth everybody out and get everybody flimsy over here, And then before you know it, we're talking, we're laughing, we're goofing off, we're cleaning this, washing the rest of this car, and at the end of the day, we're, making fun of her looking like Ben Roethlisberger with a thing on her shoulder, and because she's a big Steelers fan, and I'm like, that's why you had that. She had some ice compression thing on her shoulder, and I'm like, Big Ben in the house, So, so we could not
The
stop
detail on
laughing.
cars is getting rough out there.
Yeah, it is. It is. So, so we were ragging on her about that, and we just started. It was fun. We all left, took off. Everybody was happy, but I kid you, the minute I pulled up, you can already tense it. So just smile. It's okay. It's just a car. We'll clean it.
I know that, like, your positivity, everything, I know that generates so much business in what you do. And I think people gravitate to you if that's not an employee, but a client or whoever speaks with you. And it sucks not having Amanda here, because she's the same way also.
Yeah, she counters me sometimes, because there's times that I'm just like boom, 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 boom. Like,
See, they're trying to
hitting
control
the walls
that
back and forth.
that visionary that's inside of you. That sometimes that's where I have all these people around here. Just sometimes I'm like, boop, 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 boop. I'm like, hone me in back to where I'm supposed to be.
Let's go in this direction.
And that's what she does. She's like, Joe, settle down.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
So
I'll answer this question, because there's this, I kid you not, I don't know what it was, but I was like, I'm going to tell them this and that. And it was like a bad review. We didn't even do anything wrong. She's like, don't send it. I'll send it. And she sent it so differently. And the customer's like, okay, cool. I want to book my next car. And I'm like, what the world? I would have lost it, So she's like, I'm glad I did it, So yeah, so she definitely can calm my nerves down when it gets a little intense, and
very relaxed all the time.
Yeah.
You guys have done so much together and created this business and had so much traction. What would you say to other business owners, along with a lot of people watching, are about the marketing aspect? On the marketing side, on the advice you would have to another business owner, on all of that forefront of what you would tell them?
Yeah, and I really think it based off of what they want to do with their business. But I can tell you that if you want to grow and you want to expand and you want to create revenue, you have to spend money on marketing. You have to market in any way, whether you plan on figuring it out yourself or hiring great guys like y'all to do it, and you don't have to worry about it. Because I tell you what, I don't have to worry about that anymore.
You don't have time.
That's
You
one
don't have
less thing
time to
I
worry
have to
about it.
worry about. Exactly. So it's, you have to invest in yourself and your business, and you have to. And if you don't, then you're going to be spinning your wheels, and I've been very, very fortunate where I don't, even still to this day, I don't take out a paycheck. So it all goes right back into my business. Everything goes back into my business. And, I've been told you need to take a check out. You need to take a paycheck out.
You know how many people tell me that all the time? And I've done the exact same thing, that if you can grow something with.
I'll take my money out when I need it.
Exactly.
Right. And when that time comes, then I'll take it out. But in the meantime, I have a goal in mind. I have accomplishments that I want to get to, and a certain time period. And in order for me to do that, I have to sacrifice some things, and it does involve, I think last year I filed taxes and I think I did 10 grand. It's like I think I made that much when I was like 16 at McDonald's. So
that's just knowing how to do taxes. That's irrelevant.
But it's a lot of it has to do with the fact that I want to invest in what I created, and grow it. So we can afford Independence location. We can afford to continue to buy more, more equipment, upgrades. Do all the raises, right? Get my guys raises. Feed them, provide the, hey, go run and go treat yourself, whatever. I mean, they have the capability of doing that, right? Hey, don't work all day long and not eat, right? Stop when you fill gas up, get some food, put some food in your tummy, drink plenty of fluids, whatever we need to do. I know Lou, she used to be in the Navy, and she's like, Joe, I need one of those camel bags. That way I can drink water while I'm working. And I'm like, really? Would you use it? And she's like, yeah.
I think I'm buying camelbacks for all the guys so they can drink water while they work.
Yeah.
So they don't have to get up from the desk to go to the fridge.
That's the thing.
Get up
So
to go to the restroom. That's for sure.
So, and then, there's two to a team. And then, so Chris is the other one. He's like, man, I want a camel bag. And I'm like, all right, let's get y'all camel bags. If you're going to drink them and use them properly, go for it.
I like your business. I like this. I like where you're going with this.
So they're getting camel bags, and that's the other.
We too are getting camel bags. Don't worry.
Well, this was gonna go one or two ways.
Yeah, something, right? And I'm like, hey, if y'all use it, I don't, whatever, it's gonna make it easy and convenient for y'all. So, and that's that other aspect of it, right? Is you want to listen to your teammates, to what they're the driving force now. I'm not out in the field anymore. They are. They're working.
You have to listen to them though, and that's, I think, where a lot of business owners mess up too.
Yes.
That when you end up with these people out that are your driving force of everything, that say 12 months ago, my say was very, very predominant on everything because I had my hand on everything.
Yeah.
Now my hand is not on everything. When they tell me that there's a better way of doing something, that we need to do it this way, I say, go for it.
Yeah.
I don't question them. I don't put anything of saying don't do it. It's they're the ones handling this stuff day in and day out. They're the ones that are doing this stuff all the time. That is that trust factor coming in.
Yeah.
Saying, hey, I trust you guys doing what you do, and you guys are putting your trust in me to take this ship where it's going to go. I'm trusting you guys of doing everything on the ship to make sure it works properly.
And my new guy, he's like, hey, Joe, do you want to take a look at my work? I said, well, is your work good? Well, yeah, it's great. Then why do I need to look at it? I'm going to trust that you're going to do it right. And if we get a complaint or we get an issue, then we go back to the drawing board and we figure it out, and we work together on making sure that the next customer or the next client is a satisfied one. So, yeah, it's there's several aspects to it, but you have to want to invest your time, your effort, and your business to grow it, whether it's marketing, whether it's providing, a good work environment, You know, it's got to be those aspects, and if you don't, you know, you're going to be stuck.
It goes back to working on your business, not in it. If you're a business owner and you're doing something like detailing, you don't have time to figure out how to do marketing, to manage your systems, to do all this stuff. You have to be willing to invest in the tools and the teams necessary to automate that and to focus on leading a team, giving them the tools necessary to grow.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it comes very much down into, I don't know, I think when you have a team, if I run a business, I have 8 people. Do any of the 8 people you have know how to market?
No.
So we deal with this all the time when we go to speak with business owners, and they're like, well, I was thinking about hiring a chief marketing officer. Title sounds great. Chief marketing officer sounds good. Yeah. So you're going to have one person, or you could have 8 people with our company working on your guys' stuff every single day. Would I rather have one person working on something or 8 people working on something that do this every single day over 60-plus accounts?
Yeah.
We've already done the trial and error.
But it's something that, like, we've acquired a lot of accounts on this. We've had accounts that have went to very large influencers in the space that have said if you can get full team marketing companies on something, the value is way better. That you hire somebody straight out of college, it's like, hey, I'm trying to figure this out, blah, blah, blah. Like, the amount of money that's out of your pocket on that, not just on that employee, but the amount of money that you're losing from the revenue of new business.
Opportunity cost.
Yeah.
That opportunity cost becomes huge.
Unless you can hire an entire team to work under them, you should never hire a CMO.
Yeah. That's coming from very, very, very high powers of the nation's largest marketing firms, like Fortune 500 companies, things like that, that they say that you should hire outside marketing companies to handle that
and a
stuff.
lot of them do. I mean, even when I worked for Men's Warehouse, I mean, they didn't have a marketing team. I mean, they had a small one, but they really just focused on hiring outside help. You know, same thing with when I was in the pet industry. I mean, they went through a whole rebranding cycle while I was there, and they didn't do it in-house. They had to hire a big agency to manage that and to take care of that because they didn't know what they were doing, you know. So you can only go so far, right? You know, starting off, maybe you don't have the funds to do that, right? So you have to find a way to do it. But once you acquire the funds or you're able to do it, you have to. And if you're a small business owner, or if you're, you know, just starting and you're not wanting to brand your business, you're not going to get very far. I mean, yeah, there are word of mouth and referral leads and all that fun stuff, and that's great. And again, you know, there are a few detailers that I know that are like, hey, I'm just happy doing what I do, right? You know, I'm 2 months out. I'm okay with what I do. All right, fair enough. If that's what you want to do, but that's not what I want to do.
I had this same conversation yesterday. I went in, I'm like, my only question, I'm like, do you want to grow? And they're like, that's a setup question. They're like, I hate getting asked that. I'm like, it's an honest question. I'm like, you as a business owner, do you want to grow? And they're like, well, it's a trick because if I say no, I sound stupid. I'm like, no, it's an honest answer. I'm like, if you're comfortable where you're at, stay here. I'm like, we want to grow your business. That is our main objective. That's the only reason we're in business is to grow businesses. And I'm like, if you don't want to do that, I'm like, we probably aren't the right fit for you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, marketing's probably not the right fit for you.
Yep.
I'm like, if you just want to take the referrals that you have currently and stay here, I'm like, just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah. And if you're happy with that, go for it. But I'm not. So, you know.
Neither are any of us. That's why we're all here. So we want to grow businesses.
What's your vision? And I know this is always a very loaded question because I don't think I could personally answer this myself. But what does Turbo look like? Turbo mobile detailing, which sometimes I always like on the Turbo mobile detailing. I think it's only mobile detailing. When it's you guys do ceramic coating, you do mobile detailing. You guys do so much. I want everyone watching to know that you guys do all that stuff. But what does that vision look like 3 years from now?
You know, I think about it a lot on really what I want out of what we do, and how we do it. And, you know, my envision is that, you know, we're a household name, you know, maybe not in the next 3 years, but, you know, we're expanding, we're growing, we're moving forward, we're hiring, we're promoting, we're providing, you know, great service to all our clients. You know, we're opening up a shop in Independence. You know, we want to open up another shop in the Johnson County area. You know, we want to add another mobile team, maybe 2. You know, so the idea is to have a mobile team in every corner of the city. You know, on the north side of Kansas, the north side of Missouri, south side of Missouri, the south side of Kansas of the metro, and then have one big shop like we have in Independence, and a small one here in Liberty, and another small one in Olathe, and then we can really tackle and provide the service that we need. One thing we don't want to do is we don't want to get that big and start forgetting who we are, you know. So we want to continue to grow, continue to maintain, you know, what we do is provide, you know, good service, detail done right. It's our motto. So
you guys do a great job with that.
Yeah, we want to, you know, and we're imperfect. So yeah, we make mistakes, we drop the ball, we forget this and that. But when we do, you know, or we are in that situation, we want to make it right.
I feel like a lot of individuals lose sight of what got them to where they're at.
Yeah.
And you guys, I before we even started, I saw you on the phone over there for like 10, 15 minutes. I'm like, I can tell he's trying to figure something out.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, we had an issue and you got it handled.
Yep. And it was an issue that, you know, not quite sure what happened. So I got to really finish when I finish up here, and I'm still working, you know. Yeah. So if we have an issue that we need to address, we'll address it immediately, and making sure that our clients know that, you know, we're there to support them. You know, right now we are in a position, not just Turbo Mobile, but the detailing industry, where these fly-by-nights come out. It's summer, it's spring. They're going to start showing up at the doorsteps, trying to clean cars, not knowing what they're doing, and they're going to put that bad name on us. And we don't want to be that company. We you know, we've been around for 2.5 years. We plan on sticking around for a lot longer. So, you know, the challenge is trying to make our clients aware that, you know, we're here to stay, and, you know, our professionalism is top notch, and, you know, we're, you know, dressed to impress and, you know, provide that service. So, you know, because right now it is, I mean, they're popping up everywhere, you know, so we got to make sure that we put our stamp on there to let them know that, hey, look, we're for real. You know, we're just not some gimmick.
I think you've made your stamp on the space, and you've came out swinging with, I mean, the growth side, the marketing side, the quality side. I mean, every aspect of making it right, you guys have done. And also from a consumer side, they have to understand that the people that are doing it are still people.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing as a marketing company. Like, every single person that works here at Moss Marketing Group, they're still people.
Yep.
Do we make mistakes? 100%. Do you guys make mistakes? 100%. If anybody ever tells you that they're perfect, you met a liar.
Yeah,
that person is a liar.
Yep.
You have to take those mistakes, learn from them, get better, do better for the next job, everything like that. But I can never discount somebody for ever increasing that level, that standard that they hold for themselves. Because every time you have that one person that's a problem, you just increased your standard of what you're going to do.
And sometimes there is that one customer where you just never satisfy.
Some people you can't make happy.
There's 10%, you ain't winning.
And those are the ones that you just shake hands and move on and say, look, you know, it was fun while it lasted, but our relationship is not the best.
Yeah. There's some people
please
out
don't
there.
Call me.
Please don't call me.
I will say there's shitty people in the world, and I've had a lot of conversations relaying this to my girlfriend, that there's some people that just are never happy with what anyone does. They are not on a, I don't know, they don't, common sense level. They're not there.
That's the individual that goes into work and puts everyone else in a bad mood.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're going to have those people, and those are the people that we strive not to be.
Yeah.
Every single day. Don't ever let those people get to you.
I think in any business, don't let those individuals get to you, whether you're high up or at the bottom. Don't let that person affect your day.
And if you've done everything you can do to make it right and it's still not good enough, then sometimes you just bite the bullet.
Yeah.
Yep.
And continue on. I know we've ran for, our boy Dalton over there has told us we've ran for 70 minutes. So I think,
And where can people find more about you, or if they want to book a detail?
Yeah, so you can give us a call, 913-214-1342. That's our number.
Also will be below.
Yep, below. And then you can always get on our website.
we'll put your website, your phone number, Facebook,
everything.
Instagram under below.
There you
You
go.
are great at doing your turbo mobile detailing fam videos every day, which I do enjoy.
I've been relaxing a little. I need to get back
I
in
know.
it.
I've been missing them, but I'm
Yep.
thinking this is going to bring them back up.
Yep,
Yeah, it
it's
is.
coming.
But thank you very much for being on
Oh,
today.
thanks for having me. I
Sure.
appreciate it, guys.
Thank you for everyone today. And this is our point where we key Ricky.
Thanks for listening to the M3 Podcast. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Want to learn more? Check us out on Instagram at Moss Marketing Group, on Facebook at Moss Marketing 58, or on our website at mossmarketinggroup.com.